Hello, welcome. This is my motorcycle workshop and kitchen, and I've got this new kind of idea that I'm gonna be doing. So I'm gonna be cooking Roy here, my great friend.
You're gonna cook me, are you?
I'm gonna cook you some steak, if you don't mind.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Bmw 1200 G/S, which I've just been riding, and it's what a bike. But first I want to do is I want to get some of the food on the go. So I've got some banana shallots, which are the big ones, and I've roughly chopped them up with some leeks. I've chopped up some leeks and a little bit of celery, just for a little bit of more flavor. I'm going to put them all in a little frying pan, and they'll just sweat down for a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there. Roy, do you like cooking?
I'm Italian.
You're Italiano.
Of course I like cooking.
You like cooking, a little bit of salt.
More salt, please.
More salt, and a bit of pepper. I've been riding this bike now for a couple of days. It's really nice. I really, really like it. It's got the old 1200 engine, so it reminds me of when you and I were doing Long Way Down, and you know, because Long Way Round we had the 1150 engine, and the 1200 engine's lovely. It's got this lovely kind of, I think Chad put it really nicely, was that it's a bit like a tractor and a Land Rover. It just keeps chugging on, and that, as he said, that's a compliment, because that first gear in that boxer engine, you know, you roll into some dirt or wherever it is, and it just keeps chugging on, and it's so reliable, and you get so much feel to it, and the weight is all down really low, and even though it's a heavy bike, it gives you confidence once you get going. I've just been out on the GS, and it's funny, I've spent quite a lot of time on BMW GSs, and what I didn't realize was that from the sort of 70s, I suppose this bike here, the R75, is when the BMW at the factory started messing around with motorbikes and off-road and sort of adventure riding. That's sort of how, from the 70s, that's how the GS kind of came about. The GS really came from starting to race motorcycles in the Dakar Rally, and they had some success. I think it was the R980 GS. Gaston Rea, and it's quite funny because when you see him, he's quite a short guy and the bike was really quite big. So when you stand there on the bike, you're sort of here and the seat's here, and he was down here and the seat's here, but he was an incredible rider. And he...
very strong.
Very strong. So they had great success in the 80s, and in 85, 84, 85, they had some amazing success. So I'm just going to get these nice little wobbly French potatoes. These are delicious. I'm going to chop them up a little bit to make them easier to cook, or cook faster. It is an enduro bike, this really, is how they want it to be. You know, it's got a 21-inch rim in the front, it's got an 18 in the back, it's got 200mm suspension travel. It's really good suspension. It handles really nicely. I mean, that back wheel spins up just everywhere you go. It's fantastic. And she pops some nice wheelies. It's just a really nice feeling bike, and it's got the high-rise handlebars, so when you're standing up it has a really nice position. You know, when you're standing up it feels nice, and it feels nimble. You know, when you're putting the weight on the pegs, it just pops around. Feels nice. It's got the enduro pegs, so your feet don't slip off. It's got that lovely little adjuster on the back foot brake, so it makes it a bit taller, so when you stand up you can get to the back brake really easily. And then I've taken it off-road a little bit. I haven't done it as much as Chad has done when he did the enduro park in over in Germany, but it's nice. It's really, really good. So my first impression of the bike was that it has that great GS ability. It was easy to ride, and it's interesting. I think that they've decided to make this bike. So you've got the 1300, and they've gone, which has got all the high tech, and it's got all the big mileage, so that you can ride long distances. And a lot of the manufacturers like Ducati have got their Scrambler or the Desert X. Yamaha have got their Tenere, you know, and BMW, although they've got the GS 900, they haven't got one which is sort of all stripped down like this, a sort of simpler version.
Would you call it retro?
Yeah, I would call it retro, yeah. And I think it's a nod to the 80s. I'm gonna get lots of salt. You put loads of salt in when you're cooking potatoes. And actually, technically, what you should do when you're cooking potatoes, I haven't done it, but you should, if it grows underground, you cook it from cold water and heat it up. If it's above ground, you start with boiling water and cook it. Yes, so I think it is retro, but it's amazing when you get on it and you ride it. So we're gonna let these just sweat down a little bit. And you know, with that classic 1200 engine, which a lot of people think is one of the best engines that they've made. Ewan and I went all the way down through Africa with the 1200. So look, I forgot to salt it. So put loads of salt in here, and then just get it going. Sometimes what I do as well, I use this natural yeast, and that gives it a little bit of sort of umami flavor. So you grab a little bit of this natural yeast, you buy it anywhere, and just add it, and then you just pop a whole load of garlic in here.
That's really useful.
Really nice flavor. And then I use a little bit of, this is your Italian, a little bit of Italian seasoning. The Italian seasoning has a little bit of chili in it as well. So it's got this mixed herbs with a bit of seasoning. So you pop that in there as well. That's always nice to have in your cupboard. So you can see where this is the next generation on. You know, it's the G/S, so it's a version of that. It's an ode, let's say, to the whole GS family, and a modern version. So you can go off and you can do enduros, you can do enduro riding, or you can do adventure riding with this really nicely. It's stripped down. There's nothing on here that isn't necessary, if you see what I mean. It's just got the bare minimum of everything you got to go, and it's nice. You could see yourself, you know, doing an ACT route all the way through Croatia, where you're doing, you know, 50-50 on road, 50 off road, a bit of camping. You can strap a couple of bags to the back and kind of off you go. You know, it's be lovely. But what I liked about the Bmw G/S, I know it's a thing, but they have to be very specific about that, because it's a new, but it's kind of a new generation of an old one. It's the same engine as your R9T. It's the same.
It's 1200.
It's the same, yeah, and it's the same engine. Amazing engine.
Such a good engine.
Yeah, and that is so it's got that lovely history, and it's bulletproof because it's been around forever, you know.
Yeah.
What's really nice about this, because of the wheels, so you can get the road version as well. So it's exactly the same suspension, but it's, instead of an 18 rear, it's a 17-inch rear.
Yeah.
But the front stays the same. But then what they do is they just drop the forks through the yoke, or the yoke down through the forks, so that the whole thing stays lower because of the 17-inch rim.
Yeah.
And then they set it up to be a bit more of a road version. When you're riding that, you go along, and when you transition from road to dirt, it's really seamless, and it really has and it really works well, and the balance is really good. I mean, it's a really heavy engine, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really heavy bike.
Low, though.
You know, it's 200 plus kilos. Whereas if you think about this is a kind of a breakaway bike, and then I suppose the HB2 Rally was a real breakaway bike, but that bike the HB2 is much lighter than this one. I mean, I remember going out with that 1200 engine, and I remember going out into Dubai in the desert, and that thing with the 1200 engine flat out through the dunes was incredible. And John Deacon raced for BMW, and he had, I think his was the 1150 engine, and that was a beautiful bike, and that was very much built like this, with the proper fork fronts, not the telelever fork fronts.
Didn't he design it, really? Didn't he help
I think he helped build that, and he had a lot of success with it. And up until Sam Sunderland came along, he was probably one of the most successful Dakar riders.
Yeah.
I think it's an important bike for BMW to have, because there's all the other manufacturers, Yamaha, Ducati, everybody, they're all doing this type of bike, and I think BMW, although they do the 900 GS and they do the 1300 GS, you know, there isn't something sort of in between those, which is more of an off-roady feel to the whole thing. So it really does tick a lot of boxes. I'm very impressed. Ooh, bit of water. Ooh, hello, we got a little bit wet already. And see, look at that. It's just really enjoys being off-road. It really does. It really enjoys it. Look at, oh, it's nice. It makes you feel confident. You know, it feels nimble. I think you could have a lot of fun with this. I think that, you know, I think like with all the GSs, often that first gear is maybe a little long, you know, but I'm just picking, really.
So what you want to do is you want to sweat this down a little bit, keep it so that everything sort of goes translucent and it goes nice and soft and easy and delicious to eat. And then you have a little bit of steak. We'll get the steak out and we'll give that a little bit. Lots of people do salt and pepper on the steak. I just like to do salt because if you grind pepper onto it, for me, I get the feeling that the pepper burns when you're frying it. So I don't like that flavor. But then there's plenty of people who like it, and you know, so it's entirely up to you. And then get your steak out, or get your meat, any meat, out of the fridge for 3 or 4 hours at least, or as much as you can to get it to room temperature. And then it cooks much better because the meat's kind of relaxed from the cold. And then what I do with this is I get some herbs. So I get some coriander. Can you remember the last time you rode? When was the last time you rode a GS? Or the first time you rode a GS?
Oh, a GS. No, I can't remember. I mean, I don't do as much off-road riding as you do.
Yeah.
Yes. I think I went down to Simon Pavey's, which was the first time.
The off-road school.
The off-road school, when I rode the first time off-road with a big GS, yeah.
I think that anybody who's thinking about going off-road, by the way, this is parsley and coriander just chopped up fine, and you want to keep the stalks on because the stalks have loads of flavour in it. I think that anybody who is thinking about riding an adventure bike should go down and do the 2-day course at the I think it's the BMW Off-Road Skills course with Simon Pavey. He did the Dakar. He's done the Dakar 10 times. I did the Dakar with him. Oh, I did the Dakar Rally. Did you know I did the Dakar Rally?
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that I did the Dakar Rally?
Wow. It's just strange. How did you keep that so secret?
Well, it's just one of those things, And you go down there, you do the 2-day course, and you learn how to ride off-road. You learn how to front wheel skid, how to brake. It's a really good course. And that's why I think it's so good. Anybody who passes their test should probably do the course, because everything you learn off-road, you can use on the road, can't you?
Yes.
I love the fact that it really does have its history back into the Dakar Rally. Oh, hang on, where am I going? Oh, hang on. Now look, we're stuck in this little road here. See, it's not actually too bad to get it. It's not too bad to get it turned around in a short little space. There we go. Oh, where am I going? Is it here? Is it here that I'm going up? Oh yes, this is it. Okay, and this little bit of off-road here. This is nice. It's just a bit of a sort of half tarmac, half dirt road here. And see, I'm just feeling it's really nice. I'll tell you what this reminds me of. If I could compare it with another bike, I would compare it with the Desert X, which is another bike which is a very capable bike off-road, similar kind of setup, 21-inch rim on the front, 18 on the back. And here we go, look, nice, look at those brakes. They do good brakes at BMW. They've got twin discs.
Now what I do you remember Bill, our great friend Bill, who sadly passed away to cancer? He loved cooking with vinegar. By his cooker, he had maybe 20 different types of vinegar. And when you're cooking onions, a little bit of acidity is really nice. Just not too much, a teaspoon or so of it, and then just let that sort of cook through. See these, now if you look up my little up camera up here, you can start to see these are coming with really nice color. I almost started burning them. Look, you see,
Yes.
I managed to get away with that.
I like a little bit of burnt.
Caramelization, we call it.
Caramelization.
Yes, we call it caramelization.
Absolutely, yes.
But it's funny because I've been riding. I rode the R75, which was just before the GSs, and as they went out into the outback. And then I've rode the 1150. I've ridden the 1200, the 1250, the 1300, and they've all been just getting better and better and better. But I think what I really like about this G-Stroke S is that they've gone a little bit back to basics. They've stripped everything off it.
Yes.
On the rally one, they put risers on the bars so that when you stand up.
This isn't the rally one, is it?
This is the rally.
It is the rally.
And so you get the bars that are higher, which is and that gives it a really nice feel. So you stand and comes with off-road pegs, so you get nice grippy pegs. And then when you're moving on the pegs, because the engine's so low, the balance.
I think this will appeal to the Chelsea farmers as well.
I think so, and you know, as well as that, all that kind of retro kind of feel. That there's already, you know, Touratech and loads of other companies have already got tons of stuff that you can put on it already. So everybody's really excited about it.
What's interesting is that this bike is quite close to the HB2 that came out a number of years ago, which is just this hyper crazy enduro bike that was amazing off-road, and I rode it in the sand dunes and rode it everywhere, and it has a bit of a feeling of that. Mind you, the HB2 was half the weight of this one. This comes up at 200 something kilos, so it's still a very big bike. I think it's quite well placed. I think it's a bike that BMW kind of really had to make in order to keep up with where everyone else is going to. I think it fits in very nice. I think people would be very happy. You know, I think it's a little expensive, but then, you know, it's a premium brand and you can see where the money's been spent. And by the time you've got all the extras, which is, you know, what you want, and this one has the Enduro and the Enduro Pro. So the Enduro Pro cuts off the ABS completely on the back and traction control. You have a little button on the side here where you can turn the traction control on and off as you're riding along. So now the traction control is off, which is really handy, because when you're riding off-road, if you're going off and then suddenly you're going up a very steep hill with lots of gravel and stuff like that, if you haven't got traction control off, you know, you're not going to get up the hill, because the bike is stopping you from doing that.
I've got some frozen chilies, so I forgot to put those in. We're going to put them in a bit later. A bit of chili, gives a little bit of oomph, and get that heat back up again. So on the bike as well, this one has, you can have like a digital display and you can have an analog display. This one has a digital display, but it's a little bit simple. It has road rain, rally, and rally pro. And so all of those have all their different things. You can't turn the ABS off completely, so it will always be in both of the modes. It'll always have ABS in the front, but the Rally Pro turns off ABS in the back.
Okay.
And traction control, there's just a button to easily turn it on and off. That I quite like the digital display rather than the analog. But it has the cruise control. It has heated grips. It has all that kind of stuff. I was on the open road going quite fast. You don't get really buffeted.
No.
You get the wind, and I think if you were going to do long journeys on the road at high speed, you get tired. But you could probably get a little screen for it. But you know, the great thing about that one is that it's you can really do some proper off-roading on it, and then you can jump on the highway, and it just looks great.
Oh, here comes a little jump. Woo! Oh, that's back wheel spinning out there. When you go heavy braking, you know, you just never know that this is you would just completely forget that this is shaft driven, and that's something BMW have done so well, is that it feels like a bike that's been pulled by a chain.
So then what I like to do, I don't know what other people like, but I like to have a little bit of olive oil. Is what I like, and I like to have this Tazara. Zatar. Yeah. I love this Zatar stuff, which is really nice, and goes in here. Have a nice bit of that. Has great flavour, kind of Moroccanese, North African kind of feel to it. A bit of salt, and then you just get them and you just coat them in the olive oil. And then when you coat them in the olive oil, then just let them sit. Just for a while, just for them to absorb the olive oil. And so when we were doing Long Way Home, Luke came with us. He was one of the cameramen on that. They're up for an award for the camera operator's work, and his actually Apple came back and said, you know, that his drone work and his camera work was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they really enjoyed So we're there now. So this is there. We've spoken a little bit about the bike. I love the bike. Nice little open end can there, just to get that little bit of that BMW. Would be great. Would I buy one? Would I have one in my garage? Absolutely. I think I would.
Have you got space?
There's always space. Always space. So look, let's put these on. I'm going to put 2 on because Luke is a vegetarian. You want to have it nice and hot so you sear.
Yes.
You sear it. Now, I don't have, I'm going to open this because I don't have a fan either. My fan hasn't arrived in time. My oven, as you can see here, isn't plugged in. Is that going to change the light there, Luke? Yeah, the oven is not. So and you can see here that there's supposed to be tiles and stuff here, and that's not there yet either. So, please forgive me. But so if anybody wants to send me a sticker, I'm going to put stickers on the old airplane fuselage over there.
Oh yeah, look at that. Woo. Oh yes. Okay. Here we go. This is just a field, really, but it's nice. Even in this little field, it seems to have a nice little feel to it. Over here. Let's go up here. Let's go here. Wow, see how that just even in low revs, it just keeps chugging on, Whew.
You've got to be sort of brave and just let it. Once you put it on, just don't touch it.
Yeah.
And these modern frying pans, this particular one as well, it's got this new kind of non-stick thing, but then they're brilliant, I have to say. And if you want to send me some. So we have the potatoes, we've got the shallots and leek, and a bit of celery. Garlic, herbs, salt and pepper, a bit of that yeast flavour. Got my motorbike over there. So look, here we go. So this is a ribeye. I quite like a ribeye because you get the fillet, and then you get a bit of both, and then if you just cut it here, like this nice little strips. Yeah, I think we'll take yours off as well, because I think it was a little more done than I would have liked. This is a potato that's just been sitting in the olive oil, and that little tzatziki stuff. There you go, Roy. There we go. And then we've got this lovely stuff here. So,
wow,
I'm obsessed with this stuff here.
I love this
Absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely love it.
It is just superb. Drizzle it on there.
I like the peanut one. All of them, they're just amazing.
And then you just got that. There we go.
I think if you want to buy a bike like this, or a GS or anything, and you're not quite sure about being off-road, what you really need to do is get yourself to the BMW off-road school that Simon Pavey does. He has done the Dakar about 10 times, and Ewan and I actually went there 20 years ago to learn how to ride the the 1150s off-road before we went and did long way round. And then I did the Dakar rally with Simon, and I used to teach down there. I used to teach the 2-day off-road course, and it's brilliant. It is a brilliant course.
Ribeye steak, caramelized leek banana shallots with potato. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this and watching me cook the food and talk about motorbikes and food. I mean, what better is there? If you like it, subscribe. If you don't like it, subscribe and tell your friends. So yeah, just subscribe. Isn't that what they all say? Yeah, subscribe. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Okay, so Roy, now the only thing to do is to test. Have you got your drink?
It's a long wait. It's a long way.
It's a long way mug. Yeah, you can go online, and Luke is wearing one of the t-shirts. Anyway, I don't want to sell. Anyway, there it is. That's your ribeye steak, potatoes, and leek, and banana shallots.
We're waiting. Ready?
Yeah.